Right, my name is Tim Good, and I have Stretch and Grow of Greenville, and I have Impact Training Academy. And this video is being recorded that eventually will make its way to Facebook. I thought about doing a Facebook Live, but I want to put it on YouTube and give more opportunity to watch the video and see what I do. And this is about last week's class. So I've been doing blogs, and the last week I did a video log of the class. So this week, this is week 2 of a video log. It just seems to be easier than sitting down and writing everything out. I'm just gonna show you what I do. I don't know how long it will take, hopefully not too long, but you can get the idea of what we're doing. Now, in Stretch and Grow, we do themed weeks. A couple weeks ago, we did Dr. Seuss. Last week was balance. Our theme was stepping stones or balancing. So we're going to do that, but I'm going to kind of take you through how I do a class. And typically they're 30 minutes. For elementary kids, there can be 45 minutes to an hour. So I'm going to take you quickly through what I do, what we did last week with balance. And we always start with the Stretch and Grow stretch and Stars Shine Bright. And I'll kind of go through that with you. So with that, I'm going to show you what I do. And also, you can replay these videos and you can do them with your kids, or you can have them show you what we did in Stretch and Grow. Now, my wife, Miss Patty, she teaches in some other schools, and we do things a little bit differently. Not wrong, just different. And so what she does at her schools may be a little bit different than what I show you today, but it's generally the same thing overall. So here we go. All right, we start with the Stretch and Grow stretch and Stars Shine Bright. So it goes like this. We stretch, stretch, and grow. It's good for us, we know. We exercise, eat healthy and wise. We stretch, stretch, and grow. And you've probably heard your kids sing that. It's kind of catchy. A lot of them, they can do that by now, since we've been doing this for several months from the school year. They can do that on their own. But we also do those Stars Shine Bright. These are 5 things that we learn about in Stretch and Grow. And currently we are talking about food and nutrition. But it goes like this. Stars shine bright because they eat right, are neat and clean. That's good hygiene. They get their rest to be their best and have an attitude that's oh so good. And exercise with all their might. All right, we do an air 5 at the end. So those are 5 things that we talk about, and I try to post those and let you know from the monthly newsletters what topic we're doing every week. Now, we don't always do stories, but stories are a great way to get the kids moving and engaging their brains and moving on to the next thing. In our adult exercise classes, typically you warm up. You run, you ride a bike, you're on the elliptical, maybe you walk, but you warm up. You do something to warm up, jumping rope. Well, in Stretch and Grow, we do stories. And this last week, we did a story about a nature hike. You can make it up. I'll kind of show you what we did. But stories are great. They use the kids' imagination. And sometimes if we do the stories multiple times, I will let them choose what they want to do. I will ask them, what's next? What did we do? What do you want to do? But the first time, usually I tell them what to do. All right, so we're going to go on a nature hike. If you've been in the woods hiking, it should be pretty easy. So we're walking into the woods or marching. And we're also using gross motor skills. So we're in the woods, and what do we see? We see birds flying around. So we're going to be a bird. That can be their favorite bird. Robins, bluebirds, hawks. So they're flying around. What else do we have in the woods? Squirrels. We're digging in the ground. And we're climbing the trees, taking a nut to our nest. And then they're running fast like a deer. And then leaping over a log, running and leaping. All right, so we've been in the woods, we've been birds, squirrels, deer. Now we've come to a river in the water, a river in the woods, and we have to walk across a log. And if we have a line in the gym, or sometimes I'll put out a rope and long rope, and they have to walk and balance. And this is actually part of our class today, balancing. So we walk across the log, and then we jump in and go for a swim in the cold mountain water. And we're being fish in the water, and make a fish face. And we're turtles and frogs. And we shake off the water. We're a wet fox, shaking the water off, shaking our tail. And we got to run fast through the woods and stop and shake our tail. Run fast through the woods and stop and shake your tail. And then we have a field full of rabbits hopping around. All right, and then we'll go through and we're climbing the mountain. Now, we did this movement earlier, climbing a tree. We can also do a mountain climber. So we're on the ground. We're climbing the mountain, and we get to a cave. We get out our flashlight. We're sneaking into the cave. And some of our caves have bats, and we're screeching like a bat. We're on the ground, slithering like a snake. But then, what's that? A bear, run! Ah! Now, some of the older kids, we don't just run from the bear. I have them do the bear walk, which is a great, if you don't know what the bear walk is, or bear run, crawl. So that's the story, going on a nature hike. And we're also using a lot of gross motor skills. We've leaped, we've hopped, we ran and walked. So a lot of gross motor skills are incorporated with that. Now, today's class, or this past week's class, was about balance. And we already balanced in the story when we were trying to walk on a log. If the kids had a line, that was great, but we were on a flat surface. So then what we do is I have balance pods, and I forgot one of my things, but I call them hedgehogs. I also have smooth balance domes, and they have holes in them, but the hedgehogs are great. They have air in them, so you can make them as hard or as soft as you want, but the kids are learning to balance. So then we take turns balancing on the hedgehogs. A little close for my feet, but the kids get a chance to balance with them. And then the domes, which I forgot, they're smooth on top, so they're a little bit harder to balance on, but we have stepping stones, so they're given a chance to balance on a flat surface and then balancing on a raised surface. Now at home, you can have them balance on a curb, you can have them balance on a piece of wood, just trying to walk in a straight line. So balance is really important. Now, static balance is just what we're doing right here, standing on two legs. One of our exercises is a steeple stretch. And the names change depending on who's doing the class. Some of the steeples are like this, some people call it half moon, but it's a balance pose. We do a tree, we're on one leg. So that is static balance. That is balance without moving anywhere. But we have dynamic balance, which two legs, just hopping, or one leg. Other ways you can balance, and younger kids might not be able to do this, but older kids, we can jump and balance. 2 feet to 1 foot. 1 foot to 2 feet. So you can do variations of the balancing. But we go through the balance pods, working on balance for a few minutes, but it's really something you can do at home. Any surface, or just a straight line, a rope, something for them to concentrate and balance on. All right, the last part of our class, which actually goes back to the first class this month where we had tails. We did Cat in the Hat the first week because it went with the theme, but it was about rabbit tails, and we have rabbit holes. And so we'll put the holes down, and then the kids have to move around, and we're just different kinds of rabbits. We're running rabbits, hopping rabbits, one-legged rabbits for balance, swimming rabbits. We are spinning rabbits. So we do a variety of rabbits. They all get a tail. They get to choose the color, but they put their tail in. And I really don't do this with the younger ones because this is also a listening game where when I say fox in the woods, they have to come get on a rabbit hole before I count to 5. So they're moving around, they're running, they're going forwards, backwards, spinning. Fox in the woods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they have to get on a hole before I get to 5. We'll actually practice that a couple of times, and then after we practice it, then if they're not on a hole by the time they get 5, the fox eats their tail. So it's a chasing game. They're listening, they're following directions, they are reacting to the fox, and it's just a fun game for them. And then they got a stamp for a fox or a rabbit or both. A lot, again, depends on the age and what they were able to do. I think the older 4s and 5s actually got both stamps because they got to be both the fox and the rabbit. Now, that was for the preschoolers. The elementary kids, we still did balance, we still did chasing, they did moving. We warmed up. Instead of moving around and having rabbit holes, I laid ropes on the ground. They all got a tail. And when I would say go, they had to run from one rope to the other, or if I had a gym, one line to the other. And whoever was in the middle was the fox, and they were trying to grab their tail. So they're having to dodge and get out of the way and be fast, going from one space to another. So that was one of the ways we warmed up with the elementary kids. It's one of their favorite games. I don't always call it fox and rabbits. It's basically a minnow and shark game that you would play in the water, but we do it on land, but it's a favorite of theirs. The core skill that we're working on with elementary kids are racquets. So we had a couple of different racquets they could use, but they had a variety of skills. So depending on the racket, you were having them just try to balance and hold the racket level. And then if they could do this, they could do that with it. And of course, a lot of them, especially if we had a high ceiling, they were doing a lot more whacking up really high. But we're doing racket skills. So this one was just the up and the band. If they had this kind of racket and a tennis ball, and I don't know if I can do it in here, but they could do the same thing. But mostly I wanted them to try to dribble. And then I actually had bigger balls because I wanted them to be able to hit it, and they would hit it against a wall. Or if they had a partner and we didn't have a wall, the partner would get the ball and throw it back to them. So that was with the racket skills. Now, our exercises, I showed you a couple of our exercises for the preschoolers was the steeple. That was one of our stretches, but our swim, we did swimming for our deltoids. We also did Superman and boat. And if I don't know if you can see me here, but Superman, we lay on the floor. So Superman flying to a boat. Superman flying to a boat. So that's the exercises we did this week. So we're exercising our deltoids, our upper back muscles, our rhomboids, our lower back muscles, our gluteal muscles, and hamstrings. So we're working more of the posterior muscles for that. All right, there you have it for last week. I hope you can watch this. I'm sure it's a lot longer than I've done in the past, and the class was even longer than that. I'm just trying to go through it quickly so that you get an idea of what we did in Stretch and Grow. And our theme was balancing. And there's a lot of ways you can balance. Balance is really, really important. If your child is having inner ear problems, balance is really hard for them because our proprioception comes from our ears and our eyes. And our eyes really, if you try to balance with your eyes closed, especially kids, probably going to have a really hard time doing that. But something to work on, and you know what we did this week. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make a comment. You can email me at impactouryouth@gmail.com. Go to my website, impactyouthfitness.com, or I'll send a link